companies care about things like visibility, for the most part.
Just
They
CSR.
don't do their job as quickly.
If you're coming from CSR perspective.
Well, what I'm saying is, what
Some
I'm
of them
saying
have a
is,
very low profile.
so visibility really matters
Some
more
very low
towards a
profile
smaller
in terms of
subset.
visibility and
There's
communication.
also one that we forgot about to include in the general. is the-
Diversity?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I put it up there. I mean, do you think that's right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that important in general to most companies, or is it important mostly with companies that also care about CSR?
It depends, like IFCO doesn't care about CSR at all, but diversity is hugely crucial, so
Okay, so it sounds like maybe
I think it's hard to differentiate.
Is this the right way to visualize this? That here's the general pool of all large companies, and then within that general pool of all large companies, there are some that might partner with us for these additional reasons?
No, I think the idea is that we check all boxes, so we're meeting the business side, but we're also, the association with us also could meet their broader, whatever we want to call it, shared values or objectives.
We do want to state, regardless of which one it is, that we are differentiating ourselves from recruitment agencies, that we are not.
So that does matter.
Commission.
Yeah.
Because that was a really important difference with SMEs, it totally didn't matter.
With big companies.
It does, because otherwise we get pushed together with recruitment
So I should-
agencies and training providers.
So I'm totally racist,
Or
but
the-
it also sounds amazing.
So it's just a matter of how much you emphasize it
Yeah.
in the conversation, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, that's what comes that you check all the boxes.
So what else do you want to add for large corporations?
In terms of value proposition, I think we cover,
Okay.
um,
Do you have other things you'd like to add, or shall we move on and come back to
I
it?
just want to make one point, which I think the first point is actually the shared value point, because we're saying the business plus social impact. So it's just a question of do we want to refine that language,
Yeah.
especially for the companies that are in the shared value framework. That might be some work we can do as follow-up, is to think about how to frame that in the shared value language for the companies that care about that.
So, I think our group did a much better job than the rest.
Jamie's on your group, so I'm not going to say anything. Yes.
Making friends and influencing people.
We covered the other aspects of data.
Yes, so how it looked like.
That's
that's a
We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back.
I think it's part of it. But I guess we're moving on.
Bachelor's and interruptions, it's competitive, I like that.
Let's do this, let's table this just here, and we will come back to it, I promise, because we have more value proposition exercises, activities, and we'll come back to that.
I have a, just sort of, sorry to
Please.
do this to you, but I have a side question I need to ask the group, because it's been on my mind for a while. A lot of the talk in the world of youth employment generally and in the Middle East is the importance of building the equivalent of soft skills for digital skills, right? So basically, the importance of having as a basic 21st century non-technical skill, basic digital literacy.
ICT type.
Yeah,
competence.
so I really feel like this is something we need to invest in fast to have a really robust digital literacy component.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a shared feeling. Basically, we seem to do a whole mix of different ICT skills, but does anybody know of a really good
We're partnering
base
up.
platform of digital
We're
literacy?
partnering up with NetHub, and they do have a good, good curriculum. And,
But I understood from talking to your team that we heard from the employer that was a little bit too basic for the market. I mean, that we-
no, but
Some
Jamie is right. So this is if you don't have basic computer skills in this day and age, you're illiterate.
But
So-
I guess what I'm wondering is anybody working on putting together what a basic digital literacy skill building foundation?
We're putting together in Egypt a basic typing skills course along with basic Windows, how to use Windows and Word, PowerPoint, Excel.
But to us, this is advanced.
And internet search obviously.
Because that I knew we were doing, but I thought we need to layer in basic social media skills, maybe
Yeah.
basic web development.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they should include that in the curriculum development initiative of MEN because these are standard.
Or take that hope and build on it. That hope has a good foundation in that.
Honestly, I haven't seen it, but I know it is basic and it falls right into what Jamie is saying.
The reason I'm asking, so McKinsey, we're still trying to get a look at this, but McKinsey supposedly developed this for Spain. Because here's what McKinsey's done, and this gets at actually all of these conversations. They basically said, we're gonna design for scale from the beginning, so we're not gonna try to do like really tailored programs based on individual company needs. We're gonna assess a sector. We're gonna understand what kind of cross-cutting skill needs are for entry-level jobs in this sector. And then we're gonna design programs to meet those needs. And basically, it's not rocket science. What they've designed is a soft skills curriculum. And in Spain, where they're focusing on IT, a digital literacy skills curriculum. And maybe there's some language. So basically what we have done, but packaged it in a slightly different way, and they've got more sophisticated assessment tools to do better assessment of young people before they even come into the program. So the reason I'm focusing on this is I think this is something that we're getting more and more, certainly in Morocco and Egypt, where we're getting more and more into digital jobs, we should really try to get our handle on what at least a foundational digital literacy program would look like. And maybe it's a mix of the things we're already doing that we can pull together. And Tom, this is something to talk with John about as we're thinking about the next generation of our soft skills. Maybe we add a module
21st
That's-
century soft skills.
yeah, that's really 21st century soft skills, including digital literacy, and look at what McKinsey developed and anything else we think would be relevant. I think that would really strengthen our
For Morocco also, we have started this ICT program since 2012, and then we are developing IT programs, but also web development programs. But we are outsourcing this, and we are paying 3 times what we should pay for EFE trainers. So hopefully Rani would maybe help us to develop like a homemade training for the web or for the IT application like .NET, Java, and so on. It would help for us since we are
Look, I think-
Rockefeller, Accenture, and we have this IT orientation.
And I think as we go to scale, we're going to start having to get, which is basically what we're already doing, but even more sort of, basic pillars of programming that meet the sector needs. Instead of trying to continue to be, meeting all sector needs with lots of bespoke programs and partnerships.
Hospitality, IT.
Exactly. So
Retail.
for IT, we're going to provide 3 things.
Yeah.
Digital literacy, soft skills, English, business
Yeah,
English.
package.
For construction, we're going to project management.
Retail also.
More off the shelf because we can't keep going on this, meeting every specific need on a very small scale.
Maybe something to think about in the future is just to deliver, I was in Luminous. For specific sectors, we used to give, it's for English for specific purposes. So something very specific per sector, sometimes only the forecasts of the words that are most likely to be.
This one's doing that in Egypt too. It's very specific.
So what you're talking about is the horizontal and vertical learning. So the horizontal will suit all types of businesses within this industry. And the vertical is the in-depth learning that needs to be incorporated into the curriculum for successful
And
learning.
I guess I'm arguing that as we get to scale, we're going to have to move increasingly away from verticals and more horizontal. And pick our sectors, identify the cross-cutting horizontal, which I think we're basically doing, but we're still doing a lot of what I call bespoke or very tailored special programs for small numbers.
I go for verticals always because they are my number one sellers. As in the product knowledge component and the customization of English, this depth of what we do for the employer is my number one seller.
I'm not sure if we're saying the same thing, or?
It's exactly opposite to what you're saying. This is not scalable.
Right.
Yeah.
You're saying your vertical programs aren't scalable? Your big sellers are not scalable?
All our programs have horizontal components
Right.
that suit
Right.
industry needs. And then the vertical ones are the in-depth knowledge that the employer
That's based on the requirements of.
So
the
if we
employee.
stick, what Jamie is saying is if we stick to the horizontal soft skills generic components, this scenario then would be very scalable.
Just trying to wake you up. Sorry, I was going to sleep over here.
This would be scalable, but with the vertical components, it's very difficult to scale up. However, I'm saying, yes, you're right, but companies love those customized, the product knowledge component that we add, the customized English.
But maybe the answer is we have a range of verticals, right? So what I heard Jamie say is, let's pick our sectors as well, and maybe we have a range of verticals. So for IT, we have business English, business French, digital skills. There's verticals, potentially, but not a whole bunch of verticals, not too many, not scattered, that you start to cluster so that you invest in some core content.
If
And then
you're
once you
talking,
invest
if
in
you're
that
talking about
content, you can charge
2 or
extra
3
for it.
different technology, if you're talking about 2 or 3 different technology stores, for example, each one of them will have their own vertical. So the product knowledge. So one works with Apple, one works with mobile phones and tablets and phablets, and the other works with Microsoft products and other. So it's not really related to the industry so much. It's related to the each customer needs. When do we go?
For a more generalizable, scalable programs, it's going to have to be a more.
Maybe Jamie, donor covers the generalized components, and then employer covers the.
Ismail, from which level you start talking about customizing? We are talking about 20 people to place.
I do not start a class for less than 23.
Yeah, but for one class you are able to customize the training.
In most cases.
I think to conclude this,
Types of,
We do customize.
I think to conclude this, why don't we do a database of everything we're offering, horizontal and vertical? We do it for Palestine, and we put all the courses, and then everybody does it, and then we look at the whole range
Whole
of
spectrum
courses
of
we're
map your
doing and
offerings.
what's happening. I think that will give us a clearer picture. Because a lot of the things you're saying, Jamie, we're doing, but we just,
It's a
we're
way
not
to
visualizing
package
it.
it,
It's-
right.
It's how to package it.
Okay, moving
Good
on,
idea.
we'll come back to this.
Program, the vertical and horizontal actually.
And also distinguishing what we're actually delivering versus, there's a lot of the vertical stuff that we're doing in a lot of countries, I understand, that we're doing through partners, so
That we want to minimize.
maybe, but yeah, just distinguish those.
So just moving on, and we'll come back to the points. I just wanted to share with you a case study from Kiva. It's a non-profit organization. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They connect people through lending. So they have microfinancing institutions, and they allow individuals to go and to lend money from them as low as $25 to start certain opportunities. So this is their business model that will give you a little bit of a taste of how they are structured, if you wish, and how the business model works. So the value proposition, you see, it's different for beneficiaries who are the people lending money, So
Liv,
for-
I think we maybe need a break. We've been
Yeah,
going for 2
just-
hours, right?
I'll finish this and we'll take a break, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was gonna take a break right after this, because we're moving into another topic. So they have access to a greater pool of microfinance. For the donors, okay, the value proposition is the opportunity to have a direct relationship with beneficiaries to choose what to fund and get their money back to invest. The market segment, the beneficiaries are the poor micro entrepreneurs anywhere in the world. The donors, online individuals, small donors anywhere in the world. And you see the value chain structure. So they have an online electronic marketplace where micro borrowers can post their loans and micro lenders select and fund them. The revenue generation They make no margin on transactions. They're so dependent on large institutions and corporate dollars. So they don't make their own money. Their position in the value network, they don't have any significant competitors. So this is also what you need to look at. Do we have exact direct competitors? They depend on in-country microfinance partners, okay? And in one case, a partner has withdrawn because of the labor involved in doing so exceeds the labor they usually spend on a borrower. So they have also some negative aspects there. The competitive strategy, the main challenge in the future may be that the success of its marketplace may outstrip its large funders' capacity or willingness to increase their investment. So they have some challenges for the future to be able to sustain those microfinancers and large funders. So this is just a quick example of how you can relate to how another NGO builds their business model. And
I
anyway,
actually thought that Kiva, they didn't have a transaction up front, but they took a small percentage if the loan is repaid, so that's part of their business model.
oh, I wasn't familiar. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I don't think this is,
Yeah.
I don't think this is I think a big portion of their model is actually revenue from the loans.
Oh, I thought it was revenue from the funders. They
I mean, that's part of it, it's part of
okay.
it.
I'll research it.
Yeah, we should definitely.
Maybe they make money out of the percentage, the markup. Of the loan.
They build it into the loan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit,
cost.
yeah, but not from, like, they don't have a transaction fee for the person borrowing the money, right?
No, but no microfinance institution does. The microfinance institutions build in the percentage as part of the loan.
Yeah, otherwise the lender will not trust that the Kiva will work hard enough to get the money back.
Okay.
So Linda, for EFE, are you recommending that we prepare a business model canvas or a business model? Do you think that we need to do that?
Yeah, definitely,
So
we
would
need
you
to go back
recommend
and complete those, definitely.
The
This is
canvas, the
an,
canvas.
The canvas,
Okay.
yeah.
And the
Continue
model
to
that you
do
have in
this.
the other format, is that also something we need to look at, or
This
is
is
it
the
just, we should
model.
just do the canvas?
This is the model, this is the business model.